Hello, everybody. This is Joe Garagiola with Byram Sound, welcoming you to Metropolitan Stadium in Bloomington, Minnesota, and the first game of the 1965 World Series. Brought to you by
Gillette, makers of the incomparable Gillette stainless steel blade, #1 in sales by far, and the slim adjustable razor, foamy shaving cream, Right Guard deodorant, Sun Up aftershave, and new Heads Up hair grooming for men.
And brought to you by Chrysler Corporation, makers of the new 1966 Plymouth, Dodge, Chrysler, Imperial, and Dodge Truck. All quality engineered by Chrysler Corporation. Today's host, Plymouth, and your local Plymouth dealer.
For your listening pleasure, Gillette and Chrysler also bring you the All-Star Baseball game and the 1966 Rose Bowl game over most of these same stations. It's an overcast day here at Metropolitan Stadium in Bloomington. No threat of rain, a capacity crowd, and as expected, it'll be Don Drysdale pitching for the Los Angeles Dodgers, and it'll be Mudcat Grant pitching for the Minnesota Twins. The ballpark just magnificent. Green grass, freshly cut, and the ball players anxious to get going. Now, this broadcast is authorized under broadcasting rights granted by the Commissioner of Baseball, solely for the entertainment of our listening audience. And any publication, rebroadcast, or the use of the descriptions and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the Commissioner of Baseball is prohibited. The infield was a big focal point during batting practice. Maury Wills of the Dodgers says it's the best infield he's played on. It's so nice and soft. The Twins infielder said it's the hardest it's been all year. And the reason for the discrepancy is that the Dodgers infield in Los Angeles really tailored to this ball club. The Dodgers, who two big hops in the infield, it's a base hit, a stolen base, and they've got a man on third with a wild pitch who'll score the run. The Twins have a little bit more power than the Dodgers, but of course Maury Wills will be the man that the Twins, along with the many fans here at Metropolitan Stadium, will be watching. Here's the way they'll line up today. For the Los Angeles Dodgers, it'll be Maury Wills leading off at shortstop. Wills, shortstop. Batting second, it'll be the third baseman, Jim Gilliam. Gilliam will be at third base. Batting third, it will be the center fielder, Willie Davis. Willie Davis in center field. Batting fourth, the right fielder, Ron Fairley. Fairley is in right field. Batting fifth, the left fielder, Lou Johnson. Johnson in left field. Batting sixth, it's Jim Lefevre, the second baseman. Lefevre. Lefevre, a big surprise on this ball club, spells his name Lefevre. Lefevre. Batting seventh, it'll be the first baseman, Parker, Wes Parker. Batting eighth, it's the catcher, John Roseborough. Roseborough, the catcher, and the pitcher is Don Drysdale. Drysdale, the pitcher. He won 23 and lost 12 on the regular season. For the Minnesota Twins, leading off, it'll be Zolio Versailles at shortstop. Versailles. Batting second, a left-handed hitting outfielder playing left field, Sandy Valdespino. Valdespino. Valdespino in left field. Batting third, it will be the right fielder, the American League's leading hitter, Tony Oliva. Oliva in right field. Batting fourth, it will be Harmon Killebrew. Killebrew will be at third base. Batting fifth, the center fielder, Jimmy Hall. Hall in center field. Batting sixth, the big first baseman, Don Mincher. Mincher at first base. Batting seventh, it will be the catcher, Earl Batty. Batty behind the plate. And batting eighth, it will be Quilisi. Frank Quilisi, the rookie infielder. He'll be playing second base. Quilisi spells his name Quilici. And batting ninth, it will be Jim Mudcat Grant. Grant will be the pitcher for the Minnesota Twins. On the regular season, he won 21 and he lost 7. The color guard right now in center field, along with the band, the vice president, Hubert Humphrey, is in the ballpark. Most of the crowd standing here at Metropolitan Stadium as we get set for this first game of the 1965 World Series. As far as the two pitchers are concerned, there'll be no trick pitches. Don Drysdale, a real good fastball, a sharp-breaking curveball, changes speeds on both his fastball and his curveball, and is especially effective against the right-hand hitters because when he comes sidearm, it's a tough thing to keep that front foot in the batter's box. It wants to leave with the rest of the body. Mudcat Grant, he came on to be a big winner for the Twins and gives a lot of credit to pitching coach Johnny Sain, who taught him what he calls the fast curve. Many pitchers refer to it as a slider, but Grant calls it a fast curve, and his catcher Earl Batty says that the reason for it is that it tilts more than the slider. Now, if that confuses you, join the rest of the club. He throws a fastball, a curveball, and a fast curveball, changes speeds. Both Drysdale and Mudcat Grant, pretty good hitting pitchers. In fact, Drysdale is the leading hitter of the Dodgers. The Dodgers, of course, it looks like a track team that might have flunked on its way to the ballpark, because they start running from the minute they get to the ballpark, and they don't stop until they cross home plate. Some amazing statistics. You can go on and on. They won 15 out of 16, 8 of them shutouts, 3 one-run games, and Wally Moon summed it up best when he says our pitchers just would not let them score a run. The wind will be a little bit of a factor if it continues to blow the way it is blowing right now. It is blowing towards left center field, the power slots. Down the line here at Metropolitan Stadium is 344 feet in left field. The power slot left center is 365. It's about 430 in dead center field, 365 in right center where the bullpens are, and down the right field line it's 330. Ball players like to hit in this park. Real good background. There's a big, high canvas screen that's erected, black, and that ball is easy to pick up, especially from the overhand pitchers, a fellow like Mudcat Grant. It's a good ballpark to hit in, and the foul lines are not so far as you can't reach them. And with the wind blowing the way it is, well, the hitters laugh and tell jokes, and the pitchers, well, they just moan. We mentioned briefly about the infield, how everybody was watching it. In fact, the Dodgers were paying particular attention to the first base line, and some of them were of the impression that it sloped towards the foul line so that any ball that's bunted near the foul line would roll out foul. If you were tailoring this ball club against the Dodgers, you would tailor it that way, because it's a bunt, a run, a scoot and scratch type offense that the Dodgers have. The infield, as Maury Wills said, a very soft, best infield he's played on as far as fielding. But Maury, as far as hitting, like many of the Dodgers, likes the hard infield, similar to the one they had, for example, at Pittsburgh in 1960, where you chop down on the ball, get that big hop, and by the time it comes down, you're across first base. So it'll be interesting to see the difference of the two ball clubs as they move from one ballpark to the other. Defensively, as we look at the Minnesota Twins outfield, Jimmy Hall in center field, a complete ball player, as is Oliva. Oliva with a fine arm. There won't be much running done on either Hall or Oliva. Val Despino has been platooning with Bob Allison, and he is a ball player you would put in the category that if he left his glove at the ballpark, he could still get to play. He could leave it right in his locker because he's in the lineup because of his bat. Mincher and Killebrew at first and third, real power hitters, and again, they're there because of the bat. Versailles is a key man on this Minnesota Twins attack, and many feel the most valuable player in the league. This is a very daring base runner, and during the Yankee games this summer, we saw him score from second base on a couple of occasions on an infield out. So if Versailles gets on, you may see some pretty good base running. The Dodgers, well, the whole infield consists of switch hitters, pretty much same type hitters. Will's the key man. In describing the Dodger attack, they call a Dodger double a walk to Wills and a stolen base, and the Dodger triple has become known as a walk to Wills. His attempted steal is second. The throw goes into center field by the catcher, and there he is at third base. Power, they really don't have a whole lot of power if you measure power by home runs. But if you measure power by doubles and triples, you'd have to say the Dodgers have it because of the speed that they have. Davis, Lefevre, Wills, Parker, and Jim Gilliam, who is a reactivated coach. So it'll be really speed for the Dodgers, power for the Minnesota Twins as this 1965 World Series gets underway. And Byron Saum, during the Philly games, you saw the Dodgers a whole lot. I guess, in addition to speed, you'd have to talk about the great pitching of Drysdale and Koufax.
Joel, thank you very much. Yes, I think you summed it up very well. And they're going to get us Dose, of course, of Drysdale today and Koufax tomorrow. And it looks like Osteen will be pitching the third game when they get out to Los Angeles. But as you pointed out, Wills seems to be the key man. Invariably, he gets on. I think in the games that we saw him, we might have cut him down 5 times, but he still stole about 12 bases. And it's the most upsetting thing, I think, to the pitchers. And he's the one little fellow that you try to compare him like Willie Mays, who hits 52 home runs, and here Wills has no home runs. And I believe Murray's just as valuable to this ball club as we'll say Willie is to the San Francisco club. The Dodgers, not many people thought they would win it, even after San Francisco got rolling. But as you pointed out, they won something like 15 out of their last 16. I think the only game they lost was possibly to Denny LeMaster. And as far as I can pick out here, Joe, I believe that Drysdale, the last 2 outings, pitched shutouts. I think he beat the Cardinals, and he beat Milwaukee.
Okay, bye. Now the first game of the 1965 World Series is being brought to you from Metropolitan Stadium in Bloomington, Minnesota. To celebrate Gillette's 27th year of sponsoring the World Series, Gillette is throwing in a baseball, a top-quality baseball, for your boy or some boy you know. Now this ball has something special. Major League autographs. The names of 10 American League ball players or 10 National Leaguers, whichever your boy prefers. Now listen closely. Here's all you do to get him that autographed baseball. For a limited time, Gillette is offering a special World Series low price on the famous Gillette adjustable razor with a dispenser of Gillette stainless steel blades. The low price is just $1 for both Gillette adjustable and blades. In addition, a coupon comes with it. Mail in the coupon with $1 and Gillette will throw in that official autographed baseball for your boy. And now, ladies and gentlemen, from Metropolitan Stadium, our national anthem.
WGY, WGFM, Schenectady. There's just enough time before the game starts to pour yourself a refreshing glass of lively Saratoga Vichy or sunny Saratoga Ginger Ale. Better hurry.
And there go the Minnesota Twins out on the field, the American League champions. The umpires for today's game, Ed Hurley will be behind the plate, the American League. Tony Venzon of the National League at first base. John Flaherty, the American League at second base. It'll be Ed Sudol of the National League at third base. Down the lines, in left field, it will be Bob Stewart of the American League. And down the right field line, Ed Vargo of the National League. Mudcat Grant taking his warm-up tosses. Maury Wills is in the on-deck circle. And now to bring you the play-by-play of this first game of the 1965 World Series, here is Byram Sam.
All right, Joe, thank you very much, and hello, everybody. Greetings from the Twin Cities. This is quite an impressive sight as we look out from directly behind home plate. I would guess we have about 51,000 people. Actually, it seats 47,000, but they were selling standing room only. And right now, most everyone is standing up because right next to the Commissioner of Baseball, Mr. Ford Frick, the Vice President of the United States, Hubert Humphreys, is to toss out the first ball. Naturally, he was a former governor of this state of Minnesota, and he is quite a figure here in the Twin Cities. And the ball has been taken there by Earl Batty, and it means this game officially is to get underway. Mudcat Grant, 21-game winner, loser of 7 for the year, formerly with the Cleveland Indians. Actually, in the American League this year, they had only 2 20-game winners, but this fella, Joe pointed out, has got great stuff. He's a great competitor. I don't think he stalls around on the mound very often. And Drysdale, on the other side, of course, is a very fast worker as well. The Dodgers arrived here and worked out for about an hour and a half yesterday. And Maury Wills points out it's a wonderful field, and he's ready to go. Now, Wills hit .286 on the season. He's a switch hitter. And it seems like when we're seeing him most of the National League season, he is a left-handed batter. Gives him a little more speed at getting down the line. And I do believe that, although it has been pointed out that this could be a series of shortstops with Versailles against Wills, I believe Maury, early in this game, is going to give the test to Killebrew. Killebrew has a powerful arm, although he has been out for part of the season with an injured elbow. Preston Gomez and Danny Ozark on the coaching lines for L.A. The first 2 games will be here in Minnesota. And then Friday will be a traveling day. And then games 3, 4, and 5 will be played in Los Angeles. Walt Austin is coming across to talk to Ed Hurley from the visiting side, which is located on the third base side here at Metropolitan Stadium. I don't know whether there's a mix-up in the lineup or not. Wills is the captain of the Dodger Ball Club. This little man has only hit 9 home runs in his major league career. But what a tremendous leadoff man, and what a tremendous base runner. A few years ago, as you know, he even surpassed the great Cobb's record, and this year has come along with his second best in thievery with 94. He also scored 92 runs during the year. Austin now moving back to the dugout. Ed Hurley now hollering out, play ball, and here we go. The sun is out, and it's just a perfect day for baseball. Top of the first inning with the Dodgers batting. Jim Grant gets his sign. The first pitch is right in there. Strike 1 call. Your game is underway. Jim Gilliam to follow. Wills stands pretty close to the plate. And a curveball and a bunt. It's down the first base line, but it's going foul. Grant coming over. But it's just over the line, foul. From what I could gather down there today, conversation with the writers and some of us in the radio business, they seem to think in the first 10 or 12 feet down there, Joe, that maybe the ball would roll off, but it might level out if you got a little further down the line.
They're going to have to get it out into the grass. Once it gets by the 3-foot interference line, that's when it starts to tailor out and starts to go downhill. He's going to have to bunt it in the heavy grass.
So we've got a 2-strike count on Wills. There are 7 left-handed hitters in this lineup against Jim Grant. Here's the windup in the pitch. Foul, sliced into the far end of the visiting dugout. 0-2. Walt Austin has done a fantastic job in running this Dodger Ball Club. However, the Dodgers were in first place most of the season. Strike 3 ball. Wills is called out on strike. It looked like he gave him a good fastball. So there's 1 down as Wills retires to the dugout. Now, Grant certainly has great control. He hasn't thrown ball 1 yet in this first inning. Jim Gilliam. Here's an amazing ball player that was actually on the coaching lines and is still designated as a coach. But they needed help, and he is certainly a great number 2 batter behind Wills. Jim Gilliam hitting at .270. He's batting left. He takes low outside a ball. That's Killebrew at third, Versailles at short, Quillisi playing at second base, and Don Mitcher at first. Here's the next offering. Breaking ball for a strike. 1-1. Gilliam is principally a right-hander. He does everything right-handed, except bat occasionally on the left side. 1 out and no score. Top half of the first inning, a swing, a big breaking ball for strike 2. Now in the outfield, Valdespino is in left, Jimmy Hall in center, and the great Tony Oliva is over in right field. Just won the batting title again, Oliva. Here's a ball hit out into Oliva's area and right. Looks like a fairly easy chance, and Tony has it for the second out. 2 gone in the top half of the first inning. Willie Davis coming up. Willie grew up in L.A. They moved him around. When he was a youngster, he used to be a right-handed batter. And he is hitting at .238. That's his National League average over the 65 season. He had some difficulty with the left-handed batters. Pitch is outside, a ball. Two down with a strikeout on Wills and a fly ball taken care of by Oliva in right field. There's a well-hit ball to right center field. Deep goes Oliva. He leaps. He's got it. Right at the 365-foot line. And the score at the end of the half inning of play. Los Angeles nothing, Minnesota nothing.
A razor being stropped. This sound went out with a straight razor. Who ever heard of stropping razor blades? Oddly enough, the early stainless steel blades did have to be stropped. Stropped on your face, as you shaved. You see, most stainless blades have a kind of coat along the cutting edge. With the early blades, this coating was wildly uneven. As you shaved, you evened it out. You might say you were stropping the blade on your face. This stropping stopped with the Gillette stainless steel blade. Gillette had developed an exclusive process for coating the blade edge evenly. No valleys, no peaks, no mistakes to correct on your face. The finest stainless steel blade in the world from Gillette.
Right-hander Don Drysdale getting ready to go. Minnesota is very popular and colorful. Zolo Versailles will be leading off. A right-handed batter. Many think he will be picked very high on the most valuable player listing. I know one thing, his teammates have already given him that honor. He's very personable, and I would guess that he was interviewed by more writers than any other Minnesota ball player before the game. He was a .273 hitter over the past campaign. And he hits the long ball occasionally, proven by his 19 home runs. And quite a base stealer. He gives a lot of credit to the third base coach, Billy Martin, for helping to make him a better ball player. Jim Lemon is the coach at first base for the Twins. Here's Drysdale, and a big swing for a series for a strike. Drysdale won 23 games and lost 12. And he has never lost in World Series competition. Big, tall, handsome right-handed batter. Sets and delivers a crossfire outside for a ball. 1-1. To follow, Valdez Pino, left fielder, also a left-handed batter. And then Tony Oliva. Here's the pitch. Outside, just missing the edge. 2-1. Defensively, Gilliam at third, Wills at short, Lefebvre at second base, and Parker at first. Swing and a miss. 2 balls, 2 strikes. In the outfield, left field, it's Lou Johnson, who supplanted the great Tommy Davis, out with an injury most all year. Woody Davis in center, and Ron Fairley in right. Pitch is hit foul. It's curving back and will go to the stands. 2-2. So the World Series is underway. Today we're speaking from the Twin Cities. The score as we move along in the last half of the first inning. The Dodgers nothing, Minnesota nothing. Drysdale in his warm-ups was way out in the bullpen, which is right under the scoreboard in right center field. Drysdale, 29 years old. A Californian, now lives in Hidden Valley, California. A swing and a miss on a fastball, and that's all for Versailles. A strikeout. 1 down. I had not seen a great deal of Valdez Pino, and there's likely a chance we'll have some platooning in this spot, but he is very, very short, very stockily built. But they tell me, even though he's about 5'6", he wears a 42 size coat. And here he is. He hit 261 on the season. A left-handed batter. Drysdale delivers, and there's a liner to right. It's going foul. It's into the crowd. Strike one. As you would expect, tickets for the World Series in the Minnesota State have been awfully tough to get. It's been a complete sellout. And as you know, this is one of the greatest things that has come to this great Midwest, because they've only had baseball up here for some 5 years, that is, in the major leagues. However, they did have wonderful minor league ball here for many years when St. Paul and Minneapolis were great rivals. And as a matter of fact, Walt Austin at one time managed the St. Paul Ball Club. Valdez Pino moved back. Either getting a new bat or he's in the batting box now and fouls this one back and out of play. 0-2. Drysdale is 2-0 in World Series competition. And Joe and I remember so well in '63 when they swept the World Series. Koufax in that series had 15 strikeouts, and yet many people thought Drysdale pitched a better game in winning it by 1-0.
He's really tough on the right-hand hitters by, and the big thing about Drysdale is that it really doesn't make any difference who's hitting. He's going to throw strikes. He's going to pitch every 4 days. I guess the best description of the feeling for Drysdale goes to Dick Grote of the Cardinals, who said hitting against Drysdale is like a visit to the dentist.
That's right. He's a very personable individual, but he's pretty grim when he gets on the mound. And as you pointed out, he seldom ever misses a turn. Has wonderful control and great ability to get that ball where he wants it. Here comes a breaking ball. It's hit slowly towards second baseman Lefevre. He's up over to Parker, and that's the second out. The play going from second to first. 2 down for the Twins. There is no score in the first inning. And the very popular Tony Oliva coming to bat. This is truly a great record this young man has compiled in 2 years in the major leagues. He won the batting title and most everything that went with it a year ago as a rookie. And he's right back in his second year, finished off hitting at .321. They tell me he does everything well. And I know a couple of the American League managers I talked with today said he's one of the finest two-strike hitters that they've ever seen. Here's Drysdale working, and the pitch is fouled away for a strike.
My, he's a whole lot like Roberto Clemente, that his strike zone is anywhere his bat can reach. And when the pitcher has 2 strikes on him, it's the pitcher who's in a hole, because you may try to waste one, and he'll hit it. And there's no set way to play him. He'll hit all over. You just kind of fan out against him.
That's right. They tell me he gets a lot of his hits to the opposite field and even can push the inside pitch over the other way. Here's one wide for a ball. Of course, these clubs have been well scouted. Al Campanis does the work for the Dodgers. Has been watching the Twins for several weeks. And Del Wilber has been doing the same for the Twins. And they go over and they brief themselves, of course, on the weaknesses of the other team. But once you get on the field and we start the ball game, every man for himself. Here's a foul coming back. 1-2. This game is in the last half of the first inning from Bloomington, Minnesota. Game 1 of the World Series. No score, as Mudcat Grant took care of the Dodgers in 1-2-3 order, even though there was a hard hit ball by Willie Davis. Here's a pitch to Oliva. He fouls it off. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Now, many of you might remember the All-Star game was played here this past July, and it was a 6-5 game. As I recall, there were some 5 home runs hit in the game. So Minnesota has been blessed with a lot of great baseball, and we'll never forget 1965. There's a half swing and a punch ball to short. Wills is in, up throws. Third out is made. Olivo going out from Maury Wills over to first baseman Wes Parker. No runs, no hits, nobody left on. The score at the end of 1 inning of play. Los Angeles, nothing. Minnesota, nothing.
Heads up, handsome.
Heads up, look alive.
Be a heads-up kind of guy with new
Heads up, by Gillette.
For a handsome head of hair, new heads-up hair grooming for men. New from Gillette in 2 different forms. New heads-up liquid, new heads-up tube. An entirely new kind of hair grooming developed by Gillette Research. Not greasy, not drying, but a clean, modern formula that's never messy. So clean it rinses right off your hands. So clean it combs right in. You can't tell it's there. New Heads Up by Gillette, in whichever form you prefer, liquid or tube. Yes, for a handsome head of hair that stays that way all day.
Heads up, handsome.
Heads up, look your best.
Keep your hair looking its handsome best with new
Heads up, by Gillette.
Here we go to the top half of the second inning. Ron Fairley will lead off. He'll be followed by Lou Johnson and Jim Lefevre. Fairley, a likable redhead right off of the campus of Southern California. He played over the last several weeks with an injured hand. And I notice either that's a little tape or he's got a white glove on his left hand. I know he had trouble gripping the bat for a while. Anyway, the first pitch by Grant is high for the ball. That happens to be a white glove that he's wearing today. Grant delivers low and outside, ball 2. Fairley was one of the big men, though, driving in important runs. And I think one of the big moves that might have been overlooked in the makeup in the winning of the Dodger Ball Club was to make a regular right fielder out of Fairley. He fouls this one, 2-1. For it was until this year that he played first base. But Wes Parker came along, gave him a good brand of baseball at first, and young Lefevre came along to take care of second base. And Fairley has been the regular right fielder. Low for the ball. 3-1. Again, the wind is blowing from right toward left. No score here in the top half of the second inning. We're speaking today from Minneapolis, St. Paul, home of the Minnesota Twins. A high lofted shot foul that will go into the crowd down there. Strike 2. You might think that's the bleachers, but folks, those seats right in there go at $12 a throw today. And there must be 25 to 30,000 visitors into this area today. Here's another pop foul. Maybe Killebrew will have a play. He's going over. He's near those box seats, but no, he can't get it. 3 balls, 2 strikes. For these games, as you know, we have 6 umpires instead of 4, giving an added umpire down each line, and these umpires will be rotating. Tomorrow, the National League will have the plate umpire. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Grant working on Fairley, and there's a long drive to right. Well hit. That ball is going places, and it's into the bleachers. It's a home run for Ron Fairley. 1-0, Dodgers. That ball got out of here in a hurry. A line shot that goes into the bleachers in right field, and Fairley has hit a 3-2 pitch for a home run, and the Dodgers lead 1-0. Now, Fairley only hit 9 home runs during the whole 65 season, and was in a slump, as we pointed out, just before this series got underway. Here's Lou Johnson, tries to bunt, and fouls it back for a strike. Now, Johnson has been with several ball clubs, but this has been a remarkable year for him. He has been in left field for the injured Tommy Davis. He swings and misses, strike 2. Joe, I think he gave a very fine description. He got a key hit to help win the pennant for them, and he said all I could see Joe, was dollar signs.
That's an honest answer, By.
Fellow that's never had a chance to get in a big series like this. This one's high for a ball. 1-2. That ball traveled about 367 feet, and Ron Fairley has given the Dodgers an early lead. Swing and a miss. That's all for Johnson as Grant records his second strikeout. 1 out. Here's Jimmy Lefevre coming to bat. This young man is a switch hitter, and I remember him several years ago when he was a bat boy for the visiting teams in Los Angeles. But he's come a long way, and he hit .251 over the season, takes one outside high. Now, some of these switch hitters are a little better on power batting right-handed, but they play it right down the middle. And if there's a right-hander pitching, why, they go up there and bat left. Lefevre sends a high fly ball to left field, should be playable. Valdespino is getting under, and Sandy's got it for the second out. 2 gone. Wes Parker, another switch hitter, and he'll be batting left. The general feeling is that the scores here in Minnesota will be higher than they will in Dodger Stadium. For the simple reason, the wind blows a little stronger here, and the ball carries well here. And possibly that ball that Fairley hit, you'll never know, but it might not have been a home run at Dodger Stadium, but it was here. All right, a swing for a strike. Jimmy Grant delivers high outside a ball. 1-1. So there's been only one hit in the game, and that was a home run. And the Dodgers certainly were not listed as a home run hitting club. They were last in the National League this past year in hitting home runs. Low for a ball. 2-1. Most of the people got here early. People were arriving as early as 10:15 this morning. Grant ready, works, there's a ball to left field. It is coming down, it is foul. Hit well to the opposite field, but over about 6 feet foul. Parker coming back, and the count, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Grant pitching with Batty catching. Your infield for the Twins today, Mincher at first base. Quillisi is at second base. Versailles and Killebrew rounding out your infield. Inside, a ball 3. Parker's more of a line drive hitter. He hit .238 over the season, but a very polished first baseman and fairly good speed. The pitch. Swing. He got it. A strikeout. Mudcat Grant gets his 3rd strikeout, but the Dodgers pick up a run. 1 hit. Homer by Fairley. Nobody left on. And the score at the end of 1 1/2. 1-0, the Dodgers. Want a shave that is really clean, big on comfort? Well, make your move to Gillette Foamy Shaving Cream, and you'll get shaves that are big on comfort and really clean. Foamy contains K34 hexachlorophene, an antiseptic that destroys facial bacteria. Actually cleanses your skin while you shave. Foamy supersaturates your beard. Extra rich lather keeps your beard wetter, better all through your shave. Gives you a lubricating base on your razor glides through your whiskers with such ease that, well, you just gotta try Foamy to enjoy such downright comfort. You get a closer shave, an easier shave. So for shaves that are big on comfort, really clean, try Foamy Shaving Cream. It has to shave better because it's made by Gillette. Curse is always a psychological factor to get the lead in any kind of a short series, which the World Series certainly is. And if anything, Drysdale has that edge right now. But here's a man who can equalize things with one swing of the bat. Harmon Killebrew. Certainly one of the big power hitters in baseball. And who knows, he might have been another 40 home run hitter this year, except for an injured elbow. Killebrew hit .269 on the season. Drysdale in motion. Pitch is inside for a ball. Powerfully built. He's stepping out of there right now. Right-handed hitting Killebrew. Jimmy Hall to follow. And the breaking ball is outside and low for a ball, too. He's set, delivers. Strike call right of the knees. 2-1. Joe Gargiola and By Sam sending you the World Series, Game 1 from Minneapolis, St. Paul. On a very, very lovely day. Swing at a foul tip, 2-2. I would guess that Killebrew over the last 6 years has hit as many home runs as any Major League ball player. He's been fantastic. 1-0, Los Angeles leading. Drysdale, fastball beam, and Killebrew goes down swinging. So Don racks up his second strikeout. 1 out. Joe, this fella probably platooned in this series. Paul?
No, I don't think he will, By. He doesn't hit as effectively against left-handers. They cut down his power, but he still hits them for base hits. The platooning, I would imagine, would be between Valdespino and Allison. I understand Mealy's going to even keep Mincher in there.
In other words, they think enough of this fella, even against a fellow like Koufax is going tomorrow. Actually, he is going tomorrow. Here's a strike on Hall. This fellow swings a good bat. He's got 20 home runs. That is over the 65 season. Hit 285 and had some 86 RBIs. And the breaking ball, a swing and a miss, strike 2. There's no doubt that these players are on edge till the game gets underway. There's just a enormous amount of pressure that goes with the first game of the World Series, and with the writers just all over the field before game time and getting little interviews. Here's a swing and a miss, strike 3. And another strikeout for Drysdale. 2 minutes gone.
Talk about the pressure, By. It's the extra things. I heard a 30-minute interview consisting of how did Mudcat Grant get the name Mudcat, and did he like it? What's that got to do with your curveball?
That's right. Writers come up, and sometimes broadcasters, with unusual questions. Here we go. A pitch now to Mincher. A strike. Minnesota has shifted around a bit. Mincher had this job once before. Then they moved him out and brought Killebrew into play first. But they've got him in there for good right now. And the pitch is high. 1-1. Mincher looked good. He's a rangy left-handed power hitter. He can hit those seats out in right field, and he hit quite a few out there in batting practice. Drysdale curves him, and there's a high drive to right, and it might be going. It is a home run. Has just tied the game. He hit one into the bleachers. Right field. Even it out. He hit a 1-1 pitch. That ball not only was hit, but was hit high and carried further than the home run hit by Fairley. Al Mincher had hit 22 over the season. So it's a 1-1 ball game. And here's the catcher, Earl Batty. Drysdale delivers, and there's a pop foul out of play. First base side for a strike. Batty is one of the few players that wears a little flap over his left ear. It's a specially designed helmet. Drysdale delivers, and there's a fly ball to left center, not very deep. Lou Johnson indicates he can get it, and the left fielder squeezes it for the final out. So 1 run on a homer by Don Mincher. 1 hit, nobody left on. And at the end of 2 innings of play, Los Angeles 1, Minnesota 1.
He starts today with sun up, put on a happy face. Crash on a dash of sun up, put on a happy face. Just splash sun up all over your face. You put on a happy face.
Yes, Gillette Sun Up Aftershave gives your face a happy feeling. Sun Up is 1 up on all the others. Splash on a dash. There's refreshment. Smells better, feels better. Doesn't sting. Manlier, and women think so too. So get yourself a bottle. Right after your morning shave or any time of day, for that top of a morning feeling, just open, splash, and man, that's Sun Up.
Just splash sun up all over your face. You put on a happy face.
Sun Up Aftershave from Gillette. The people who know men best.
Ready to go for the Dodgers in the 3rd inning. John Roseboro will lead off. Another left-handed batter. John hitting at .233. This fellow doesn't say very much. Consequently, they've nicknamed him Gabby. But a very fine worker. And he has handled 2 of the finest pitchers in baseball for a number of years now in Drysdale and Koufax. All right, inside a ball. And he says it's much better to catch him than to try to hit against him. Jim Grant had a tremendous season. He flips and it's in there. A strike call. Just at the waist. 1-1. Matching home runs gives us a 1-1 score. Game 1 of the World Series for 1965. And a swing and a miss. Put it right by him. Strike 2. Drysdale to follow. Here it is. Pop fly. Looks like it's playable. Killebrew coming off the line. And Harmon backing off and adjusting with the whip. He's got it. Pop foul for the first out. Now, one of the best hitting pitchers in baseball is moving up. This is Drysdale. I think Joe and I looked up and found out that he was the only 300 hitter on their roster.
I asked him about that, By, and he says that he's just following the instructions of his former roomie, who is now managing Washington, Gil Hodges. He says, I'm using a modified Hodges stance, whatever that might be.
They use him as a pinch hitter occasionally. He's a right-hander. All right, high for the ball. And on the days that he's been in the league, he's hit something like 20 home runs. Well, a home run by Fairley gave the Dodgers an early lead. And Don Mincher hit one to tie it up. Fly ball foul. First base side. 1-1. The Minnesota Twins dugout is located on the first base side. And most of the American League officials, club officials from around the American League are located in that area. And the opposite is true on the other side back at third base. There's a hot shot down to short. Versailles comes up with it. Boyzolo gets him out. Nice play by the shortstop. That ball was hit to his left, scooped it up, and in one motion got it over to Mincher. So a fine play to rub out Drysdale. 2 gone. Maury Wills. Well, at least he tried a bunt in the first inning, but eventually struck out. It's amazing how Wills has made observations over the years on different pitchers and has learned their rhythm and their moves and how to get the big lead. He pops a little foul back at third. There goes Versailles. He hurries over. He's going to get it. He made it. A pop foul for the third out, and the Dodgers go down. No runs, no hits, nobody left on. And the score as we head into the last of the 3rd inning. Los Angeles 1, Minnesota 1.
We're here in a testing laboratory watching stainless steel razor blade tests. Wow, you should see this one. a guillotine test. The blade drops and cuts through something, which seems to prove something. Or here, a spark gap test. You shoot the spark, and unless something goes wrong. Oh, look, here's a peach shaving test, and a football shaving test, then a balloon shaving test. But then all these tests put together won't tell you as much as the very simple test Gillette calls the man test. You take all the stainless blades and put them in stores and wait, and see which stainless blades most men want to shave with week after week after week. Gillette wins the man test.
We pause 30 seconds for station identification.
This is the sound of Saratoga Vichy. It fizzes and fizzes and fizzes all through your drink. Never leaves you flat. But Saratoga Vichy has more than lively action. It has a dry, satisfying taste that compares with, well, nothing else really. That's because nature gives Saratoga Vichy a delicate balance of ingredients that man-made mixers just can't duplicate. Try the authentic Vichy, Saratoga Vichy with the yellow label. It's a natural. WGY, WGFM, Schenectady.
Let's see. He is a right-handed batter. And a foul goes back, and out of play, strike one. He was a regular second baseman in the closing weeks of the campaign. He hit .208. Jerry Kendall, a local boy, was at second base the early part of the season for Minnesota. Here's Drysdale's next offering. It's foul. The late swing, and the ball spinning back into the crowd. 0-2. Quilici is from Chicago. It's an odd name, Quilici. Although I understand he lives in North Carolina right now. The pitch is low and outside the ball. Pitcher Jim Grant on deck circle. Score tied at 1-1. The pitch. Breaking ball hit the third. Base hit. Goes on down the line. Willis is going to go into second base. The ball bobbled by Lou Johnson. It will be a double. The ball got by Lou Johnson down there as it skidded off the wall, but it will be a smashing double right over the bag at third. They got it with 2 strikes on it. And the pitcher coming up. Now, Joe, I guess they'll play this kind of close to the vest, won't they, with a pitcher coming up in a 1-1 game?
You'd certainly have to look for the bunt in this spot in this kind of a ball game with these 2 pitchers. You're not going to get a whole lot of runs off Drysdale, so you better pick him up when you can. Drysdale coming in now to talk to Roseboro. And this is a spot where the base runner at second base is pretty vulnerable because he'll have to get the good jump off second base, and Roseboro likes to throw and will throw. There's a meeting now between Grant and Martin. Grant, of course, got his signs from Mealy, and Martin is just checking with him. So it's a key situation very early in this ball game.
That's right. Grant is a fairly good hitter, but with a bunt in order here, LA is shifting its defense now. A runner at second, score tied at 1 apiece. Drysdale from the stretch on the look to second base, comes down and a high pitch and a punt, and Drysdale falls down, finally goes to first, and a good pickup. Wait, there's a bobble of the ball at first base apparently, and all hands are safe. Drysdale actually fell down and made a late throw, but it looked like it got there, but the ball was bobbled by Parker, so all hands are safe. Drysdale actually fell into a sitting position and made a low throw from that spot. He had no play going to third base at all. So they get a little better than they bargained for, and it will go down as a sacrifice. No error, fielder's choice. They are now ruling error on the second baseman. Error on Lefevre. In other words, the ump had his hand up, but he looked again, and since the ball was being bubbled, an error has to be ruled. So runners at first and third, nobody out, and Drysdale is in some trouble. The Twins have the top of the batting order. Versailles steps in. He struck out in the first inning, but he's been a money ball player all season long. Drysdale on the stretch comes to the plate. Swing and a miss. High fastball. This game is now in the third inning. The Twins are batting, tied, and Minnesota threatening now to go into the lead. Here's the pitch. Missed with a crossfire, low outside. 1-1. This inning started. Quillisi got a double over third base. And Mudcat Grant bunted. Drysdale came in. It was bunted in such fashion that Roseboro couldn't make the play. And Drysdale picked it up and fell flat, but tried to throw from a sitting position. And Lefevre couldn't handle his low throw. The pitch. There's a drive deep left. Well hit. That ball is in the seats. Just hit a 1-1 pitch into the bleachers in left field to give Minnesota a 4-1 lead. It brought in Quillisi, it brought in Grant, and of course Versailles. All right, here's a long drive to right. Delspino, it is in play, and he's heading for a double. He's in there. So the big bats of Minnesota are coming in. Tell you about that. Versailles, a homer, 2 on, and a smashing double by Sandy Valdespino into the right field corner. In the bullpen, we've got right-hander Reed warming up. This is Howie Reed. And Austin very quickly stepped out of that dugout. Could be that he's going to stick with Drysdale a little longer.
He's going to have to stall for some kind of time to let Reed get out because this inning sort of exploded. Now, manager Walter Alston is walking back towards the dugout. You most certainly go a little bit longer with the Drysdale or Koufax for that matter than you would the ordinary pitcher. But it happened so fast that Reed actually got up to warm up just as Walter Alston started out of the dugout. 4-1, bottom of the third, Twins out in front.
And here comes Tony Oliva. Still nobody out. Oliva in the first inning grounded out to Wills at shortstop. Stretch move, the pitch. Foul coming out of play. Strike one. So we've had 3 home runs in the game. Fairly hit one to give the Dodgers the lead. Nobody on. Don Mincher evened it up. And Versailles has just hit a 1-1 pitch. And he boomed it a good 350 feet out into the left field bleachers. Valdespino at second. They're going to make a move. Quick, close, safe. Wills came from out of nowhere and made a dive and caught that ball, which was a little on the low side and on the other side of the bag. But Valdespino gets back. Don has a good move to second base, incidentally. 1 strike on the batter. Minnesota leading 4-1. Oliva, a left-handed batter. The pitch to him. There's a ball. Bloop foul down back at third base. Strike 2. The Twins are managed by Sam Mealy. Sam was a star outfielder, and he played back in the days when the Boston Red Sox had quite an outfield. Ted Williams, you might remember, and Dominic DiMaggio. Then he was a coach, and he's done a fine job out here. Minnesota took command before the All-Star game. and if anything, went on to increase their lead from that midway point. They clinched the pennant about a week ahead of the Dodgers. 2 strikes on Oliva. Here it is. Outside and high, ball 1. And it looks like they're getting a left-hander warmed up now, along with Howie Reed. That's Jimmy Brewer, left-hander Jimmy Brewer. Drysdale lets go. A pitch is foul back. Out of play. The Dodgers, of course, have 2 well-known late relievers in Bob Miller and Ron Piranowski, a right-hander and a left-hander. And that big fella Reed that's out there warming up, he started the last game of the season after the Dodgers had clinched the pennant. Drysdale hit hard here in the 3rd inning. He's ahead of Oliva. Pitch, there's a ball hammered down to Gilliam at third base. He grabs it about chest high, throws, and in time, and Oliva is out. He also held that runner at second base. 1 out. Harmon Killebrew. Cleanup hitter, struck out on a 2-2 pitch in the 2nd. Infield is back. 1 gone, 3 runs home. Last half of the 3rd inning. Drysdale lets fly with a curveball for a strike. Rodrich second. Val Despino, he doubled into the right field corner. Here's the pitch. Low and outside, a ball. Maury Wills comes trotting in from shortstop. And the score, for those that are just tuning us in from the Twin Cities today in Game 1 of the World Series for 1965. The Dodgers, 1 run, 1 hit. They've committed 1 error. Minnesota, 4 runs, 4 hits, and no errors. The long ball has been the highlight of this game so far. And the Twins have hit 2 homers, and the Dodgers won. The right-hander cuts loose. Breaking ball. It just missed. 2-2. A sellout crowd and a few thousand more. Game 2 will be here tomorrow, and the game will be coming on at 2:45 Eastern Daylight Time. Tomorrow it's Koufax for the Dodgers and Koch, a left-hander for Minnesota. Here's a move to second, covering the other way now is second baseman Lefevre, but he stumbles and there's no play. Val Despino gets back. Joe, apparently they can work at pickoff play from either side.
They're double teaming, and of course, when Lefevre covers, Wills goes out as a decoy, and vice versa. It's a play you practice in spring training. You may pull it off once, but when you do, it really helps.
2 balls, 2 strikes to the batter. Killebrew fouls it back onto the netting.
I'll tell you what that pickoff play has done as far as Val Despino. It's cut down his lead by about 3 steps. He's not as daring as he was, and that could be the difference in the play at the plate, whether you get him or miss him. So even though the pickoff play doesn't work as far as an out, you still have a good chance when you cut his lead down at the plate.
1 man gone, 2 balls, 2 strikes, and here's the pitch. Bounding single to left field. Val Despino got a late start, however, and Lou Johnson is going to wing it to the plate, and there will be no run scored. Now that ball got into left field in a hurry. It was a ground single, so the base runner holds at third. A single for Killebrew, so he gets his first hit of the series. And it's Jimmy Hall moving to bat. Ball is from Mount Holly, North Carolina. Left-handed batter, struck out in the 2nd. Drysdale making a lot of pitches in this inning. Here we go. The first pitch is into the dirt. A ball. Now Gilliam is not too deep at third. Wills is shaded a bit to second. Of course, Parker is holding Killebrew at the bag. Now, this is a real tough situation for the Dodgers. It doesn't take a great deal here to get another run home. It's 4-1, Minnesota. The pitch. It is low. Ball 2. Both of these teams battled so hard to get into this fall classic. Both teams were disappointing last year. Both, I think, came from 6th place to win this year. And it ought to be a wonderful series. First 2 games here, of course, in the state of Minnesota. The pitch. Inside. That was a fastball that just missed. And Drysdale is been off target now. He's behind 3-0.
Look at that hole. Take a look at Billy Martin. He wants a green light here. All hitters love to hit when they got the pitcher crippled, and 3 balls, no strikes. That's the room service time. You can call for a pitch here.
And let's see what develops. He swings all right, and he misses. Strike 1. I've noticed Hall, too, has one of those protective helmets, giving him more protection on right side of his face and over his ear. Kidd's got a good swing. Killebrew edging out at first. 3 balls and a strike. The delivery. Pops a foul, but it's back. Roseboro is going to run out of room. Drops into the 5th or 6th row back there, maybe a little further. 3 balls, 2 strikes. This all started with Colasy getting a 2-base hit over third. Then Grant tried to bunt, and there was a sacrifice and an error. Versali's got a home run. Now Despino got a 2-base hit. Oliva was out, and then Killebrew followed up with a single. Runners at first and third. Of course, the Dodgers are looking for double play ball. And here's a move to first, and it is late. Full count. And the batter, Jim Hall. The pitch. Swing, he got it. He's out, swinging for the second time. Well, that takes a little pressure off Drysdale. And the free-swinging first setter, Don Mincher. He hit a home run in the second inning with 2 out and nobody on to tie the game. Right now, the Twins are leading 4-1. One run, 1 hit for L.A., 4 runs, 5 hits for Minnesota. Here's the pitch. Cuts a foul out of play. Strike. This is just one of the modern baseball plans in America. Very beautifully kept. Of course, they tell us in September they had a stretch of about 10 days of rain up here, which helps make the grass even look more beautiful. The pitch. It is high, a ball. 1-1. That little pepper pot Billy Martin down there. He has helped make this more of an aggressive ball club. They're running a lot more. Here we go. The pitch is high and outside. It seems just yesterday that Billy Martin was a star in the World Series. To my knowledge, one series he hit 500 a few years ago. Two out, 2 on. Valdespino's at third base. Killebrew's at first. And here it comes. It is high, outside. 3-1. Well, here's a spot those hitters love to work into. 3-0. While ago, Hall, he did go after a 3-0 pitch, but missed and then eventually struck out. To my knowledge, this is the first time Drysdale has ever started the first game of a World Series. Stretch. 3-1. He missed. Like he gave him a slow-breaking curveball, but it's inside low to a left-handed batter. And the Twins have now loaded the bases. And Drysdale, who doesn't walk very many, has given up his first. That will move Killebrew to second. Now Espino's already at third. And Earl Batty, the ninth man to come up in this third inning to bat. They got Batty on a routine pop fly to left in his first plate appearance. The full windup and the delivery. It is low and outside, ball one. Austin is concerned. He's standing up in that dugout. And he has had Howie Reed, a right-hander, and Jim Brewer, a left-hander, tuning up. Infield backed away. And Drysdale, look out, here goes a throw and another move to Wills as he tried to cover at the midway bag. Sort of a delayed move by Wills.
That's a play that has to start from the catcher on a count. Drysdale was standing behind the rubber and all of a sudden wheeled and threw. Many times you give the sign to the pitcher, and on a count he will turn and throw. It has to be timed perfectly for it to be executed.
All right, here's the pitch for a strike. 1-1. Batty is a huge man, very powerfully built, and at one time was catcher with the Chicago White Sox. Here's the pitch. He fouls it back. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The World Series is moving along in the third inning. And this is about as long an inning as Drysdale has been in a long, long time. It is 4-1 right now, but he's not out of this third inning yet. Bases loaded, 2 out. The count, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Looks to get a sign now from Roseboro. He kicks, delivers. There's a punch ball to right field, not deep. It could drop. It is. A base hit. 1 run in. Here's Killebrew. He's coming in. 2 runs have scored, and Minnesota has added 2 more on a looping fly ball to right field. Good for 2 more runs batted across. Lefevre, in desperation, raced out into right field, but couldn't get to the ball at all. So, Patty comes up with a timely single to get 2 RBIs. And Drysdale now trailing in the game, 6-1. They batted around, and here we go to Trellisey. He's up for the second time in this inning. Mencher, incidentally, went all the way to third on that. A foul popped up and out of play. Strike 1. Austin's up to the top step, but he's sticking so far with Drysdale. The Twins have exploded for 5 big ones here in the third inning. Now the pitch. Here's the ball to right field. There's another hit. Coming in is Mencher. He will score. And the other runner stops Patty at second base. Single. Front now, 7-1. Trellisey has come up with his second hit in this inning and drives in a run. And that's going to be all for Drysdale. Manager Austin has made his second appearance on the mound. So Don is going to be leaving us. And it's been a long time Joe, since I've seen a fellow like Drysdale get batted around here, and he's made a lot of pitches in this third inning.
Yes, he has. Well, coming out with Vince Scully, who is working with Ray Scott on the television side, Vinny was talking about that streak where they only allowed 3 runs in something like 11 games. And here in this bottom of the third inning, the Twins have come up with 6. This Twins ball club, everybody respects their power, and as they talked about them, some people you had the impression that this ball club came in through the servants' entrance or the back door. They took charge of the American League around All-Star time, and it was a solid ball club, and they've got speed, they've got power, they've got pretty good pitching. And one point by Earl Batty started out this season by making up his mind that he was going to cut down on his swing, maybe lose some power, but he was going to get more base hits, and he's gotten to where he's a pretty good hit-run man, and good to where he can go to the opposite field. And ball he hit was a nice, polite single, but it was just as effective as any line drive.
That's right. All of the hits were not resounding extra base blows. The one that was into right field that Batty got was just out of the reach of the second baseman. Howie Reed is going to get the call. Here's another hard-throwing right-handed pitcher, and Drysdale is going to leave us after 2 2/3 innings. He allowed 7 hits and 7 runs. He walked 1, struck out 4, and leaves with runners at first and second base. And now from Minnesota, we pause 30 seconds for station identification.
Saratoga ginger ale is a little bit different from mass-produced ginger ales. For one thing, it has the rich, sunny flavor that you get only with pure Jamaica ginger. Then there's the carbonation, subdued but persistent. Saratoga ginger ale puts on a lively drink, all right. It just never gets pushy about it. Give Saratoga ginger ale a try. Mix with it. Drink it straight. After all these years of pale imitations, you may be amazed to discover what ginger ale can really taste like. WGY, WGFM, Schenectady.
Howard Reed, a right-hander. He's been a middle reliever for the Dodgers, a spot starter occasionally. Over the season, he was in 38 games. He won 7 and lost 5 and had a 3.12 earned run average. And takes over for Drysdale. Now, Drysdale, to my knowledge, had been in 3 other starts in World Series competition. He had won 2 of those. One other time, I think he was lifted, but was not involved in a decision. So the Dodgers have to go to their bullpen early. Howie Reed is from Chicago, and this is only his second year in the major leagues. And he's ready to go. It's amazing, possibly of all the players in the 2 lineups today, one that you might not know much about, Kulisi has come up with 2 hits in 2 times at bat. But invariably, somewhere along the line in All-Star competition, a World Series competition, you will hear of an unknown. Here's a bounding ball hit by Grant, the pitcher, and it's now to Lefevre, and the second baseman makes the throw to first for the final out. But that was quite an inning for Minnesota. They get 6 runs across. On 6 hits, there was an error, and 2 left on base. And the score as we go to the top half of the 4th inning. Minnesota 7, Los Angeles 1.
Heads up, handsome. Heads up, handsome. Heads up, handsome. Heads up.
Man, when you hear that call, head straight for Heads Up, Gillette's new kind of hair grooming. Combs right in so you can't tell it's there.
Heads up, look alive, be a heads-up kind of guy with new Heads Up, by Gillette.
Heads Up, Gillette's great new hair grooming discovery for men. In 2 different forms, Heads Up Liquid, Heads Up Tube. Not greasy, not drying, never messy. Clean, modern Heads Up rinses right off your hands, combs right in so you can't tell it's there. Remember, men, for a handsome head of hair that stays that way all day.
Heads up, handsome. Heads up, look your best.
Keep your hair looking its handsomest with new Heads Up, by Gillette.
Heads Up Liquid, Heads Up Tube. New from Gillette, the people who know men best.
With the top of the 4th inning coming along, Minnesota has 7 runs on 7 hits, including 2 home runs. And the Dodgers, 1 run, 1 hit, and that was a solo job, a homer by Fairley. Jim Gilliam will lead off. Switch hitting third baseman. First time at the plate against Grant. He was out on a fly ball to Olivo. Pitch over, strike 1 call. Over the years that he's been with the Dodgers, many rumors that he might be traded, others that he was retiring from the active list, but he always seems to bounce back. A ball, 1-1. Jim Grant with a big lead, and he's allowed only 1 hit. Delivers. Inside. 2-1. Of course, there's another great advantage now that Minnesota has. The tactics of the Dodgers are pretty well nullified when they get behind like this. You keep them in a close ball game or a 1-run game, it's a little different. There's a line drive and a base hit for Gilliam. Socks the ball into left center. The pickup made out there by Jimmy Hall. It's a single. And a man on. Willie Davis. Willie made a bid for a hit. A deep shot into right field, but Oliva caught it out there near the 365-foot sign in the first inning. Just like Indian summer here in the state of Minnesota. Sun is out. All right, the pitch to Willie is inside. Willie Davis, a ball. I would guess the temperature reading is in the 70s now. One on, nobody on. Pitch. Curveball for a strike. 1-1. That might have been that newfounded pitch that Joe mentioned. Johnny Sain has given to Grant. Sometimes on this distance it's a little difficult to pick up the slider. All right, a pop foul. It comes back. 1-2. The scoreboard reads 7-1. Minnesota in the lead. However, they trailed for a short while. Swing and a miss. That's all for Willie Davis. He goes down swinging. So for Mudcat Grant, that will be his 4th strikeout. 1 down. And it's Ron Fairley. Fairley hit a home run, second inning. Ran a full 3-2 count when he hit it. Strict call. Well, all spring and all summer, baseball clubs in the major leagues battle to get into this, the World Series. First time Minnesota's made it since coming here from Washington, D.C. Of course, the Dodgers have been at it several times. Alston's compiled a wonderful record. And the last time the Dodgers got into it, they swept the series in 4. High. But it's well to remember, too, in 1959, they got into the World Series, and they got murdered in the first game by the White Sox, 11-0, and still came on to win it in 6. One on, one out. Outside to Fairley. 2-1. Fairley's a real student of the game. His dad was a baseball player. He studies and figures everything out, and he's gotten to where he's an excellent hitter even against left-handed pitching. Low and outside. 3-1 count. The Dodgers now have to play for the big inning. There's a fly ball right field, high and not deep. Olivo coming on, and Tony O has got it for the second out. 2 down. Lou Johnson. Joe is from Lexington, Kentucky. Struck out in the second inning. Grant lets go high inside. Joe, it's often been said he sometimes is what a human clay pigeon. He gets hit a lot. Pitches.
He goes right into that ball, Buys. First time I've seen him, and those aggressive hitters, much like Minnie Minoso, they're going to get hit because they go right into it.
And he puts his head right out over the plate. Here's one inside. 2-0. 2 men are gone in the fourth. Jim Gilliam led off with a base hit. And the Dodgers, of course, have to play uphill now. Pitch is fouled away. 2-1. Grant in position, delivers, and there's a liner hit softly out to Versailles. He's got it, the shortstop, and that's the third out for L.A. here in the fourth inning. No runs. They pick up a hit. They leave one man on. And the scores. We head into the home fourth inning. 7-1, Minnesota. You know, in all the years of World Series competitions, there's been only one no-hit game pitched. The day was October 8, 1956. The man who made that all-time record was Don Larson. And here it is, a record for Gillette, and it holds it hands down. Gillette Right Guard Spray Deodorant is the most popular deodorant in America today. It seems families everywhere find Right Guard effective. 2 seconds gives you 24-hour protection. It's a pleasant, refreshing mist that dries on contact. Nothing touches you but the spray itself. Here is a perfect family deodorant. Not a gummy roll-on, not a messy cream. There's no need for any other deodorant in your medicine chest. Switch your family to Gillette Right Guard, the perfect personal family deodorant. People, of course, were surmising what would happen today. Would Minnesota bring the big bats? Would Drysdale hold them down and keep things close? Would Wills and this young man coming to bat start with fireworks of stealing early in the game? Well, so far, it's just been the bats of Minnesota. But, of course, we've got a long way to go. This, Zoilo Versailles. He is a leadoff man, and I'll tell you, for a leadoff man, he gets quite a few home runs. He hit one in the third inning against Drysdale. He tries to bunt, and it is a tip foul for a strike. Last half of the fourth inning. Howie Reed is on the mound, pitching behind Drysdale. And a tap foul. He was swinging away. Strike 2. Now, for the L.A. Dodgers, defensively, it's Gilliam, Wills, and Lefevre and Parker through the infield. That's Johnson, Davis, Fairley across the outfield. Roseborough catching. Reed with a big motion like Drysdale delivers high inside a ball. And the next pitch. In there, strike 3 called. He really crossed him up with a breaking ball for a strikeout. 1 down. And here comes the colorful little outfielder, Valdespino. Joe, is he shorter than Davalillo of Cleveland?
About the same size, a little bit bigger, I believe, By.
A real short one. He's up there, and the pitch is outside a ball.
Looks like they're both the same size, but they both sent away from muscles, and only Valdespino got them.
Here's the pitch. Comes
Cubs had a little ball player some years ago, D'Alessandro, built alongside.
Oh, he had one of the great lines, that guy. Said he needed a ladder to put in a floor plug.
2-0. It's a curveball in the air to right center, and Fairley is hurrying across the outfield. He's giving way now to Willie Davis, and Davis takes care of it for the second out. 2 down. Most of the big league organizations have their scouts here in the Twin Cities as sort of a reward for a season put in. And most of baseball's dignitaries are here, including the commissioner and the presidents. And this is always a gay time, fall in the World Series. Second game here tomorrow, and if games 6 and 7 are needed, they'll be back here in Minnesota. Here's Oliva, and he fouls one away, strike one. He is 0 for 2. He bounced to short, and he grounded out to third baseman Gilliam. An explosive third inning gave Minnesota the lead. Quillisi got 2 hits in that inning. Versailles got a very key home run. Batty, of course, got a single that drove in a pair. The pitch. Outside, a ball. 1-1. Seven to 1 on the scoreboard. Minnesota leading the Dodgers. Reed kicks, delivers, and there's a liner to center, hit deep. Willie Davis fell. He's up, though, and he's under now, and he's got it. He fell to one knee, but got up to grab it for the third out. No runs, no hits, nobody left on. We have now gone through the first 4 innings, and on the scoreboard, Minnesota leads 7 to 1. Well, what youngster wouldn't like an official autographed baseball with the names of Willie Mays and 9 other National League stars? Or Harmon Killebrew and 9 other American League stars? Well, you can get one for your boy and at the same time save money on a Gillette adjustable razor and stainless blades with the 1965 Gillette World Series Special. Now, here's how it works. You pay only $1 for the famous Gillette adjustable razor with settings for every type of beard, plus a dispenser of stainless blades. Now, the set usually costs $1.50. You'll also get a special coupon. Just mail in the coupon plus $1, and we'll send along the baseball. Don't miss out. Get your youngster a Gillette official autographed baseball and save on the Gillette adjustable razor plus blades. Offer limited. The Dodgers leading off in this 5th inning with Jim Lefevre. Teammates call him Frenchie. A grand little ball player. Switch hitter. And he's only been up there one time and flied out Valdespino in left. High, a ball. Now, recently in the game where the Dodgers clinched the pennant, they didn't get very many hits. They got 2, and Lefevre got both of them. That was only last Saturday in the game that Sandy Koufax pitched. A strike. 1-1. This has been a remarkable year for Jim Grant. '21 game winner. He works a half swing foul, ball zooming out into the bleacher area. We pointed out the whole double-deck left field area was built this past year, and they expect to fill in between the regular stands and that left field area in another year or 2. Close it all the way in. Here's one inside, a ball. 2-2. And actually where we're located, it's Bloomington, just south of St. Paul and Minneapolis, and not too far away from either city. Foul. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Sandy Koufax will go tomorrow. He was a 26-game winner and pitched a record no-hitter, a perfect no-hitter, I should say, back on September the 9th. And his opponent will be the southpaw Jim Cott. Outside, ball 3. They're making an announcement here concerning the number of runs scored by Minnesota. Here's a high chop ball to second base. Up with it. Phillips and over to first in time, and Lefebvre is out. I believe that's the most runs scored against the Dodgers in any one inning all during the season. 6 runs. Wes Parker now. Of course, you might remember the most runs in a World Series was 10, scored by Connie Mack's Athletics in 1929 against the Cubs. Here's a ball to left deep, taken, however, by Val Despino for the second out. So Parker is out of there. 2 down. Johnny Roseboro. The Dodgers have only 2 hits. Roseboro on a 1-2 pitch in the third, popped to the third baseman. Strike call. Ed Hurley behind the plate. He's been around a long, long while and considered one of the best in the business. High a ball. 1-1. Mudcat doesn't waste much time. Toes the mound, delivers curve low. 2-1. Well, it's World Series time. However, Friday will be a traveling date. Games 3, 4, 5 will be from Dodger Stadium. High and outside, ball 3. And the pitch is hit solidly to right field. That's a base hit for Roseboro. He got it between first and second base. A single. A base runner, and we're going to get a pinch hitter. This looks like Willie Crawford coming out to bat for Reed. Willie hasn't been used in too many games over the season. He has tremendous speed, however. He's only hitting at 148. He's a left-hander. Actually, on just speed alone, I suppose he's faster than any other Dodger you can name. So here he is to bat. Reed will be leaving, and it looks like we'll get Jim Brewer into the game. A strike on Willie. Willie Crawford. Willie just had a birthday. He's just about 20 years old, from Los Angeles, and a ball, 1-1. Two out, 1 on, 5th inning, and the Dodgers trail 7-1. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 2. I understand Crawford is a newlywed, and there were 22 Dodger ball players brought their wives up for these 2 games here in the Twin Cities. All right, a foul. Joe, you think they might spend a little of their World Series money?
I guarantee you. I guarantee you. In fact, when they clinched it, the wives started to make plans, and I don't blame them.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Roseboro's at first with 2 down. In low, a ball. Crawford's a big fellow, weighs just under 200 pounds, 6'1". And Grant delivers, and there's a base hit to center field. That's a ground single. Roseboro playing it safely now, just goes to second base. And the Dodgers have 2 on as Crawford comes up with his first World Series hit. 2 out, 2 on. And Wills stepping in. Matty and Killebrew now are edging out to the mound. The totals now, fans, if you're just tuning in the game, Minnesota took command with 6 runs in the 3rd inning. Right now, the Twins have 7 runs on 7 hits. They're playing airless ball. And it's 1 run, 4 hits and 1 error for the Dodgers. With runners on at first and second base right now and 2 out. The pitch to Murray, he pops a little foul. It's curving back, and it's going into a runway over there for a strike. It's a remarkable transition on Wills. It looked like he was never going to make the major leagues. He was up in Spokane, and he was strictly a right-handed batter. And they moved him around and made a switch hitter out of him. And I think you know the rest of the story. 1 strike. High. 1-1. That's Roseboro at second base. Crawford at first base. 2 down in the visiting 5th. Here we go. Outside, high. 2-1. This crowd, which is probably in the neighborhood of 51,000, sitting idly by, not making too much noise right now. There's a punch ball to left center. Might hit the gap. It is caught beautifully by Hall. Jimmy Hall streaked over from center field and makes a remarkable catch. And that is the 3rd out. No runs, 2 hits, and 2 left on base. And at the end of 4.5, the score reads Minnesota 7, the Dodgers 1. The first half of this game has been brought to you by Gillette Safety Razor Company. The second half is brought to you by Chrysler Corporation. Today's host, Plymouth, and your local Plymouth dealer.
Let yourself go, oh, get out and solo. Get out and let yourself go, Plymouth 66.
Let yourself go to your Plymouth dealers for any one of 5 beautiful new ways to go Plymouth 66. Take your choice. The new Plymouth luxury car, the VIP. The bold new Fury. The all-new Belvedere. The solid new Valiant. And the fast new version of Fastback Plymouth Barracuda. 5 new wonderful ways to let yourself go. So let yourself go, Plymouth 66, at your Plymouth dealers now.
Let yourself go, oh, get out and solo. Get out and show the world some tricks. Let yourself go, Plymouth 66.
And the place to let yourself go is your Plymouth dealers. He'll show you the 5 beautiful new Plymouth for 66.
We have a new pitcher coming into the game, and we'll pick him up in a moment. We pause now, 30 seconds for station identification.
You know, a little music to mix by from Saratoga Vichy, the one that fizzes and fizzes and fizzes and fizzes.
Mixing with the best. Saratoga Vichy with the yellow label. It outsells all the rest. The genuine Vichy with the yellow label.
Tastes better tonight.
Feel better tomorrow. Saratoga with the yellow label.
And fizzes and fizzes and fizzes. Saratoga Vichy never leaves you flat. This is WGY, WGFM, the General Electric Station, Schenectady.
Swung on and tapped foul, strike 1. 7-1 the score. The Twins lead the Dodgers. For Killebrew, the defense plays back. Gilliam is way back. Wills is way back at shortstop, and you can't hardly blame him. They take that married man's defensive position, get out of the way of those shots. Jim Brewer gets his sign, delivers. Low, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Lou Johnson in left field is back. Center fielder Willie Davis pretty much straight away, deep. And Ron Fairley deep. Here's the pitch. It's low. 2 balls and 1 strike. 6 runs in the 3rd inning. And the Minnesota Twins lead 7-1. Drysdale started. Reed came on, and now Jim Brewer. Here's the pitch by Brewer. Swung on and missed, and it's strike 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. That was the screwball. Home runs have been a big factor here. Ron Fairley gave the Dodgers a short lead with a home run the 2nd inning. Mincher hit 1 the 2nd and tied, and a 3-run homer by Versailles. Low to Killebrew, and it's a full count. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Harmon Killebrew, real power man. Here's the payoff pitch by Brewer. It's a strike call. The fastball caught the inside corner, and Killebrew is out on strikes. Ed Hurley with the big right hand in the air, indicating strike 3, and there's 1 away, and here is Jim Hall. Hall, a left-handed batter. He made a fine running catch of the ball hit by Maury Wills. Looked like he was going to plug the gap in left center field. But Hall, a fine running catch, made the play. Jim Gilliam moves in at 3rd base now to protect against the bunt. Here's the pitch. It's a strike. Hall has 20 home runs, but he has that great ability to beat out the infield hit. He can bunt and will bunt. Low, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. It's a pretty tough hitter when you can hit 20 home runs and you have to play in to protect against the bunt. You get a lot of base hits right by you. Gilliam at 3rd base is in on the edge of the grass. The right side, they're back. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Outside. 2 balls and 1 strike. Hall is not as effective against left-hand pitching as he is against right-handers. But don't let that fool you. He may bail out, but he leaves his bat right across that plate. Hits a lot of balls in the opposite field off the left-handed pitchers. Taps one. Brewer off the mound, lets it bounce. It bounces foul. So it's a 2 ball, 2 strike count now. Roseboro broke from behind home plate, tried to make the play, and they decided to let it roll. Hall has good speed. 7-1 the score. Minnesota Twins lead the Los Angeles Dodgers bottom of the 5th. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Jimmy Hall. Nobody on, 1 man out. Here's the 2-2 pitch now. Swung on a bouncing ball. Lefevre to his left, knocks it down, can't come up with it, and Jimmy Hall is on. Lefevre raced far to his left, got a glove on it. It goes as a base hit for Jimmy Hall, and it brings up Don Mincher. Mincher, a great big guy. In fact, if you took a vote on the team you would least likely want to have a fight with, it would have to be the Twins. They've got some big ones. Killebrew, Mincher, Allison, Batty, Jim Cott. Here's the pitch to Mincher. It's low. Ball 1. If a fight ever broke out, that Quillisi would have more business than he bargained for. They'd all be going for him. This Mincher, well over 6 feet, 215 pounds. He hit a big home run in the 2nd inning. Here's a pitch by Brewer. Swung on and popped up. Maury Wills and Lefevre. Now Lefevre taking charge. And he lets it drop, so he gets the force play on the base runner Hall. So Lefevre to Wills forces Hall, and of course they pick up the percentage of less speed in the person of Don Mincher. And I wouldn't doubt that Maury Wills was hollering to the youngster, let it drop and get the force out. They took the speed off the bases. Mincher, not quite as fast as Hall. And here is Batty. Batty singled in the 3rd inning, driving in 2 runs. 7-1 is the score. Twins lead, bottom of the 5th. Here's a pitch. It's a strike. Batty used to be strictly a pull hitter, but he is really switched around the way the defense has to be very honest. Here's a swing and a miss, and a strike two, a screwball. It breaks down and away from the right-hand hitter. Jim Brewer. Mincher's at first. Parker is holding him close. I doubt if Mincher will be running. There's a lob throw to first, a little bit low. Mincher gets back. He's only got a step and a half lead over there. There's nobody going to steal a bag when Mincher's on. Got that size 12 planted right in the middle of it. Brewer delivers to Batty. Gets away from Roseboro all the way back to the screen, and there goes Mincher down to second base. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes now on Batty. It's a wild pitch charged to Jim Brewer. Puts Mincher at second base. The count, 1 ball, 2 strikes on Earl Batty. 2 outs, a 7-1 ball game. Minnesota out in front, bottom of the 5th inning. Brewer calls time now. He wants a new set of signs. With a man at second base, more than likely Roseboro is switched. It's a very simple switch, but unless the pitcher picks it up, it could be a little dangerous. Swung on, ball hit off the handle, a ground ball to Lefebvre. He's got it to Parker in plenty of time, and that retires Earl Batty. The Twins did not score. So the score at the end of the 5th inning, it's the Minnesota Twins 7, Los Angeles Dodgers 1.
I'm a Plymouth dealer, a dealing man. Right now I'm giving the best deal ever on the new fast-moving Plymouth Fastback, the Baccaruda.
The Baccaruda? It's the Barracuda.
I know. I can't pronounce Baccaruda.
You mean you're a Plymouth dealer and can't say Barracuda?
That's right. Optional equipment on the Baccaruda is the Hot Formula S package, including the big Commando V8 engine.
Evidently, you have a mental block on the word Barracuda. However, I can correct that through hypnotism.
What?
You're getting very sleepy.
I am?
Very sleepy.
Yeah.
Say Barracuda.
Barracuda. Hey, I said it. I said Barracuda.
You see, it worked.
Yeah. Folks, for the best deal ever on the Plymouth Barracuda, see your Plymouth dealer now.
Go get a Barracuda from your Plymouth dealer.
See the 1966 Barracuda now at your Plymouth trailers.
You're getting very sleepy.
7-1, the Minnesota Twins lead the Los Angeles Dodgers' first game of the 1965 World Series. And the ground crew just finishing up, as they do in all the ballparks now at the end of 5 innings. Drag the infield. And here is Mudcat Grant now against Jim Gilliam. Gilliam is 1 for 2. He's singled in the 4th inning. Here's the pitch. It's a strike on the outside corner. Gilliam, a 280 hitter, gets a piece of the ball. A tough man to strike out. Curveball. Misses, and it's 1 ball, 1 strike. 47,797 here at the ballpark. Mudcat Grant delivers 1-1 pitch. Swung on and fouled back. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Mudcat Grant, that nickname came from the first minor league club he played with, Mississippi Mudcat. 1-2 pitch. Here's a bouncing ball. Versailles is short, has it. Over to first in time. 1 out. Mudcat lives in Lacoochee, Florida, and he's got a brother named Swampfire. How about they have a lot of fun? I'm Mudcat. I'm Swampfire from Lacoochee. Here is Willie Davis. Davis lined hard to right field and struck out. Killebrew right in on top of Davis at third base. Fastball misses, and it's ball 1. Killebrew not only is in, but he's over near the line. Here's the pitch by Grant. It's swung on, fouled all the way back, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Versailles, his shortstop, is playing Willie Davis to pull, so there's a lot of room between Versailles and Killebrew. Killebrew is practically guarding the third base line. Versailles up the middle. Quillisi is over, and Mincher guards the first base line. Here's a line drive, left field. Valdespino can't get it. It's a base hit for Willie Davis. He just stroked one, went with the pitch. A fastball, the outside part of the plate, and he laid the bat right on it. And here is Ron Fairley. Fairley is playing with a bone bruise. That's the reason for the glove. Sometimes you get all kinds of answers why they wear gloves. This is a simple one. He's got a bad bone bruise. One man out. Here's the pitch. Swung on a high fly ball, left field. Valdespino's going back. He's got room, waiting for it, makes the catch. Willie Davis heads back to first base as Valdespino really fired that ball back into Quillisi. It took a bad hop, and Quillisi had to make a pretty good play to come up with it. So there are 2 outs. And here is Lou Johnson. 7-1 is the score. Twins lead the Dodgers. We're in the top of the 6th inning. Johnson struck out in the second, lined hard in the 4th inning. Willie Davis at first base. 2 men out. 6th inning. Here's the pitch. Swung on, base hit, left field. Valdespino coming over fast. Willie Davis round second. He holds on. As Valdespino is ready to fire. But, of course, the Dodgers trail by 6. 7-1 is the score. So they have to play station-to-station baseball. It's a base for a hit. A base for a hit. You get them in a close ball game, though, and they look like a Chinese fire drill. Everybody's going everywhere. With a 6-run lead, you got to play pretty safe. Here is Jim Lefevre. 7-1, Twins lead. Swung on, line drive. Versailles right there has it. Nice play with Johnny on his spot. That ends the 6th inning for the Los Angeles Dodgers, and the score at the end of 5.5. It's the Minnesota Twins 7, the Los Angeles Dodgers 1. You know, one of the greatest umpires ever to dust a plate summed up his job pretty well in one statement. He said, "It has to be a tough job when you work in front of 60,000 people, and the greatest applause you can get is silence." You know, it makes me think, in a way, of the customer care manager at any Chrysler, Plymouth, or Dodge dealers. He's the complaint man, the cry-on-the-shoulder specialist. He listens. But more than that, he does something about it. You want fast service? He's the guy who sees you get it. The loan of a car while yours is being serviced? See the customer care manager. Got a beef? He'll settle it. But even though he doesn't get much applause for the job he does, he doesn't wind up with many rhubarbs either. Because the dealer he works for believes in customer care. The common sense way of doing business by treating a customer as a real all-star. Just one more good reason to buy a new Plymouth, Dodge, Chrysler, or Imperial, because the guys you buy it from, they care and keep on caring. Bottom of the 6th inning. Frank Quillisi to lead it off. And this youngster, who before the game was saying, "My pop is in the stands, and he's going to see me in the World Series. What more can I ask for?" Well, he's put on quite a show for Pop. He has 2 base hits. He scored a run. He had 2 base hits in the big 3rd inning. Here's the pitch. It's high, ball 1. The line score, the Twins 7 runs, 8 hits, no errors. The Dodgers 1 run, 6 hits, and 1 error. Jim Brewer is the pitcher. Drysdale started, Reed, and now Brewer. Quillisi waits, and here's the pitch. Swung on, and he hits it right off his foot. He kind of dances around, but it's not going to hurt too badly in the World Series, I'll tell you. It's going to take more than a little blue toenail to keep you out of there. Ed Hurley talking to him now. Here comes the trainer, Doc Lenz, out. It hit him right off the left foot. Doc just wants to talk to him. Might make him a little bit late for the dance tonight. But he's all right. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. Nobody on, nobody out. 7-1 the Twins lead. Bottom of the 6th. Jim Brewer against Quillisi. Here's the pitch. Swung on, a foul ball out of play. You know, I've always, since I've been broadcasting, I look for it. Whenever a catcher gets hit with a foul tip or a batter gets hit or fouls went off, you look at the first thing the umpire does. He checks the ball. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Misses, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Quillisi against Jim Brewer. They're really straight away for young Quillisi. Center fielder Willie Davis directly in line with the bag. Jim Brewer ready, and here's the 2-2 pitch. Swung on a fly ball left field. Lou Johnson comes in now and makes the play. He broke, but he broke the wrong way. He broke back, retraced his steps, and made the play. Ball was hit off the end of the bat. Here is Jim Grant. Grant, a sacrifice, an error in the 3rd inning, came around to score on a home run by Versailles. Then he bounced out. Here's the pitch. It's high, ball 1. On the scoreboard, paid attendance 47,797, a new stadium record. Pop foul out of play, right side, beyond the Twins' dugout. So it's 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. The score, Twins 7, Dodgers 1, bottom of the 6th. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Line drive foul on the right side, upper deck, and it's 1 ball, 2 strikes. And Grant hit 2 balls into the seats during batting practice. He's had a big year, and he hopes to have a big World Series. He's got a combo. He dances and he sings, and he figures if he's a star in the World Series, well, he'll get the price up a little bit. 1-2 pitch. Swung on. Base hit down the left field line. Extra bases for Jim Grant. He's rounding first. He's digging for second. Johnson slips and falls, comes up with it, and Grant stops at second base with a double. A hot shot between Gilliam and the bag, and Grant has a double. Jim Grant calls time, gets the jacket from the bat boy. And Zonyo Versailles. He hit a 3-run homer in the 3rd inning, struck out in the 1st, struck out in the 4th. Versailles led or tied the American League in doubles, triples, runs, and total bases. He's been a valuable man to these Minnesota Twins. Grant at second base, 1 man out, 7-1 Twins lead, bottom of the 6th. Versailles waiting, Brewer at the belt. Grant a lead at second. Brewer's having some trouble picking up the signs from Roseboro. He still hasn't got it. Now he's got the one he wants. And here's a pitch. Swung on and missed, and a strike 1. In the Dodger bullpen, Ron Peranowski. What a job that Peranowski's done. 1 strike to count on Versailles. Grant at second base. 1 man out. Swung on and fouled back. Strike 2. Gilliam at third, Wills at short, Lefevre at second, Wes Parker at first. Johnson, Willie Davis, and Fairley left to right. They are really straight away for Versailles. 2 strikes to count. Brewer taking plenty of time. Here's the pitch. Swung on a line drive. Willie Davis coming in fast. Can't get it, a base hit. Here comes Grant around to try to score. The throw is cut off by the second baseman Lefevre, and the Minnesota Twins lead 8-1. 8-1, the Twins lead as Versailles drives in his 4th run of the ball game with his second base hit. And he's on at first base, and here is Val Despino. Val Despino constantly grinning. You say hello to him, and he just breaks out in a laugh. One of those happy-go-lucky guys, a powerful hitter. Left-handed batter, he and Bob Allison will platoon in this World Series. Gilliam is in close at third. Brewer at the belt. Versailles draws a throw. It's low. Versailles likes to run, will run, can run, might run. Listen to the crowd. They want him to go. He's got a big lead. He gets back. He would like nothing more, you can bet on that, to steal the first base of this World Series. Maury Wills has been getting the publicity, and it's a challenge to Versailles. He's got a big lead at first base. Brewer at the belt. Versailles leads off, draws another throw. That's three of them. He's back easily. He's got some ideas about running. Valdespino the hitter, 8-1 the score. Bottom of the sixth. Twins lead. There goes Versailles. A pitch out. Here's the throw. It is not in time. With a 7-run lead, there was a message sent by the Minnesota Twins to the Los Angeles Dodgers that we got some fellas who can run too. It was a pitch out, and Versailles still made it. 1 ball to count on Valdespino. 1 man out. 8-1. Twins lead the Dodgers. Here's the pitch. It's a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. Zolio Versailles makes no bones about it. He likes to play against a fellow who has all the publicity to build up. Compare this to playing against Aparicio. Versailles leads off second. Here's the pitch to Valdespino. It's high. 2 balls and 1 strike. 8-1 to score. Twins lead. Versailles at second base. First stolen base of the series. Brewer backs off the mound now. Versailles dancing around. He stole 26 bases during the regular season. Two balls and 1 strike. The count on Valdespino. 1 man out. Versailles at second. 8-1 to score. Twins lead the Dodgers. Brewer at the belt. Here's the pitch. Swung on. Bouncy ball to Parker at first. He has it. Races to the bag. In time. Versailles takes third. Valdespino bounces out to Wes Parker unassisted. And here is Tony Oliva. Two men out. Oliva bounced to short in the first inning, bounced to the third baseman in the third, line hard to center field in the fourth. Versailles at third base. Brewer delivers to Oliva. Swung on and fouled back, strike 1. Oliva will get his cuts up there. It's news when he is called out on strikes. He cuts and slashes. He walks out of the dugout with the bat. He doesn't figure to get a base on balls. In fact, his bat's probably jumping around the bat rack in pregame practice, one of those real active ones. Bounces one past Billy Martin at third. He's liable to hit anywhere. It's a dragnet you throw up against him. I remember one game against the Yankees this summer. He hit a home run down the left field line and then hit a home run down the right field line. Same game, same guy. Led the American League in hitting. Here's the 2-strike pitch by Brewer. Throws his bat and hits a foul ball. That's something he does all year. The bat ended up in the first base coach's box. He literally throws the bat at the ball. And with all the statistics they give out in the World Series, I wonder if that's a record. Eight to 1 is the score. Twins lead. Here's a situation where a pitcher will try to waste one and Oliva won't let you. Brewer is ready. Here's the pitch. Foul tip, and that got Hurley. Right off the mask. He'll check that mask, I'll guarantee you. You get hit straight like that, it's like putting your head inside a bell. 2 strikes to count. Brewer checks for size at third, delivers to Oliva outside. Ball 1. 1 ball, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. Eight to 1 the score. Here's the 1-2 pitch to Tony Oliva. Swung on a fly ball, left field. Johnson is going back. Has room, makes the catch. Oliva flies to Johnson in left field. The Twins score 1 run. The score at the end of 6 innings. It's the Minnesota Twins 8, Los Angeles Dodgers 1. Peter Lawford, Bethel Leslie, and special guest star Broderick Crawford star in March from Camp Tyler when Bob Hope presents the Chrysler Theater at 9 p.m. on NBC, 8 p.m. Central Time.
This is WGY, WGFM, Schenectady.
I was quite impressed. I'd heard so much about Zolo, and a lot of ways they pronounce his name Joe, and apparently he's become quite a ball player. He handled himself well with the press, and now I'm suddenly realizing what a ball player he is and why his own teammates voted him the most valuable player.
He's a pretty good ball player, By. I'll tell you, he's had a big year for these Minnesota Twins. Here's the first pitch of Lefebvre. It's high for ball 1. Right now, as we look out, Versailles is moving Valdespino over towards the left field line. Here's a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. He's a take charge guy. He's been the personal project of Billy Martin. And Sam Mealy has just done a great job with this whole ball club. Here's a 1-1 pitch. Ball 2. Of course, not to overlook manager Walter Alston. I tell you, for a guy who's had a lot of guys sniping at him for a long, long time, he won with a ball club that very few people gave him a chance. 2 good ball clubs, and it should be a tremendous series. Here's the pitch to Lefebvre. It's outside. 3 balls and 1 strike. The line score says 8 runs, 10 hits, and no errors for the Twins. The Dodgers have 1 run, 6 hits, and 1 error. The count right now, 3 balls and 1 strike on Lefebvre. We are in the top half of the 7th inning. And it's a strike. 3 balls, 2 strikes. The one thing that Mudcat will have to try to stay away from is the bases on balls. And that baddie occasionally, when he throws the ball back to Mudcat, really fires one to let him know. Outside, ball 4. And Lefebvre draws the base on balls. I had Lefebvre. That was Wes Parker. This is John Roseboro, the hitter. Roseboro fouled out in the 3rd inning, single to right, in the 5th. Here's the pitch by Grant. It's a strike. 7th inning, 8-1. Twins lead. Mudcat Grant. Roseboro had a base hit in the 5th. Here's the pitch. It's outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Home runs in this ball game. Ron Fairley has 1 in the 2nd inning. Mincher had 1, and Versailles a 3-run homer. Grant gets his sign. Here's the pitch. Curveball is a strike. A slow curveball. It's 1 ball, 2 strikes. Nobody out. John Roseboro. Wes Parker at first base. Here's the pitch. Swung on and fouled. Out of play. Bob Miller, a right-hander, and Johnny Padres, a left-hander, loosening up for the Dodgers, and Jim Merritt, a left-hander, for the Minnesota Twins. Here's the pitch. Swung on a high fly ball, right field. Oliva drifting over, waiting for it, and makes the catch. Roseboro flies to Oliva, and here is Wally Moon. Wally Moon will be the pinch hitter for Jim Brewer. Moon only went to bat 89 times during the season. He had 1 home run, left-handed batter. One man out. Wes Parker at first base. 8-1 the score. Twins lead, top of the seventh. Here's the pitch. It's low, ball one. One ball, no strikes. Moon, a good fastball hitter. They play him pretty much straight away. In fact, Valdespino may be shading him a little bit towards the line in left field. Swung on and popped up. Killebrew and Versailles drifting over in foul territory. It's Killebrew waiting for it, makes the catch. Wally Moon fouls out to Harmon Killebrew, so there are 2 outs, and it brings up Maury Wills. So far, the Twins have had the perfect solution on how to stop Maury Wills from running. Get him up there with 2 outs and somebody else at first base. Wills was called out on strikes in the first, fouled out to Killebrew in the third, and flying to left center field in the fifth. Here's the pitch. Wills shortens up as if to bunt, takes it inside, ball one. In the fifth inning, Wills fly to Jimmy Hall. It was a fine running play by Hall. Robbed Wills of an extra base hit. Here's the pitch. Swung on, line drive, base hit, right field. Oliva's up with it. Wes Parker stops at second base. So Wills lines hard to right field, and it brings up Jim Gilliam. Gilliam flying to right, singled in the fourth inning, and bounced out in the sixth. Score 8-1. Minnesota Twins lead the Los Angeles Dodgers. 2 men out. Maury Wills at first. Wes Parker is at second. Grant checks the runners, delivers to Gilliam. A curveball high. Ball one. 1 ball, no strikes. Mudcat Grant with a 7-run lead. 8-1 is the score. Twins in front. Here's the pitch. Inside, and it's ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes. Batty walks out in front of the plate, says something to Mudcat. And it wouldn't be anything great. Something like, don't go to thinking, just keep on throwing. 8-1 is the score. Here's the 2-0 pitch. Swung on and missed, strike one. Jim Gilliam turned loose on a 2-0 pitch. Parker at second, Wills at first. 2 men out. Grant delivers, and Gilliam fouls it back. So it's 2-2. Looked like a high fastball, and Gilliam really went to work on it. Gilliam is a tough man to strike out. He sprays the ball. Just lays the bat right out there. Gets 2 strikes. He spreads out with the stance. Tries to meet it. Here's the pitch. Swung on, a high fly ball, right field. Oliva has plenty of room. Waiting for it. And makes the catch. Gilliam flies to Oliva. That ends the 7th inning. So the score at the end of 6.5 innings. It's the Minnesota Twins 8. The Dodgers 1.
Let yourself go, oh, get out and so long. Get out and let yourself go, Plymouth 66.
Let yourself go for what's all new at your Plymouth dealers. The bumper-to-bumper new Plymouth Satellite. Plymouth Satellite for 66 is the spirited leader of the all-new Belvedere line. Front bucket seats, center console with glove compartment, sport wheel covers with spinner hubs, door-to-door deep pile carpeting. That's standard equipment. That's Satellite. Test drive it today. Plymouth Satellite for 66 at your nearby Plymouth dealers.
Let yourself go, oh, get out and so long. Get out and show the world some tricks. Let yourself go, Plymouth 66.
And the place to let yourself go is your Plymouth dealers. He'll show you the 5 beautiful new Plymouths for 66.
Bottom of the 7th inning. The Minnesota Twins 8, Dodgers 1. Ron Peranowski is coming on for the Los Angeles Dodgers. He'll be the new pitcher. Johnny Padres and Bob Miller continue to throw in the Dodger bullpen. Three home runs in this ball game. Ron Fairley got the Dodgers out in front with a home run in the second inning. And then Don Mincher came back in the bottom half of the second inning and tied it up. In the third inning, Minnesota came up with 6 big runs. A double by Quillisi. Mudcat Grant bunted. Was credited with the sacrifice. Lefevre came up with an error when he bobbled the throw. Drysdale fielded the ball, slipped and fell when he threw. It was a low throw, so the umpire called him out. And then when Lefevre bobbled it, was ruled an error. Saez had a big 3-run homer, and that was a big blast. A double by Valdespino, a single by Killebrew, walk to Mincher, and Batty had a single to drive in 2 more. Quillisi ended up with a base hit, and Mudcat Grant ended the inning. Here's a curveball low to Harmon Killebrew. Ron Peranowski. In the third inning, the Twins had 6 runs, 6 hits. Killebrew takes a strike over the outside corner. 1 ball, 1 strike. For the Twins, Al Worthington begins to loosen up. Pitch by Peranowski. Low, and it's 2 balls and 1 strike. Dodger defense deep, swung around. No changes. Gilliam, Wills, Lefevre, and Parker in the infield. Johnson, Davis, and Fairley left to right. Curveball bounces past Roseboro all the way back to the screen. It's 3 balls, 1 strike. They've just made an announcement that Peranowski has allowed 2 earned runs since the 7th of August. Three balls, 1 strike. The pitch to Killebrew. Swung on a tap foul. He was going for it. Peranowski, who's come on, very strong for the Dodgers. He was hurt for a little while. Rubbing up the baseball. Nobody on, nobody out. Bottom of the 7th inning. Harmon Killebrew. Killebrew struck out, singled and struck out. And he draws the base on balls. So Killebrew is on. Roseboro goes out to say something as Jimmy Hall comes up. Hall struck out twice and then had an infield hit. Hall, left-handed batter, takes a look at Billy Martin. 8-1 is his score. Hall deep in the batter's box. Gilliam moves in a couple steps. Peranowski at the belt. Here's the pitch. Hall squares around, takes it outside. It's ball 1. Billy Martin coaching the third, one of the real busy coaches. He's constantly doing something. Sleeves to the letters, to the cap, claps his hands, moves around. He's one of those coaches that's always in motion. Peranowski delivers to Hall. He swings and taps one. Peranowski, but Poirot, let it roll, and it rolls foul. Wes Parker at first base. Peranowski was ready to make the play, and Wes Parker kind of hollered him off to play, and there it is again when the ball gets near the line. The lip of the grass seems to be the key to the whole situation. Once it hits that, it just goes downhill into foul territory. So it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Killebrew is on at first base. Nobody out. 8-1 is the score. Twins lead. Hall taking a good look at Billy Martin. Jim Gilliam is in close at third base. Peranowski, the left-hander, gets his sign. Delivers 1-1 to Hall. Curveball is his strike. Big, wide breaking curveball. Hall head squared around as if to bunt, was fooled on the pitch, and took it. It was a kind of a curveball as a kid you called a roundhouse. Big roundhouse. You know, you stick your thumb out and bite your tongue, and then you throw it. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Peranowski delivers. Outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Gilliam is dropped back with 2 strikes on Jim Hall. Killebrew is at first base. Here's a fastball that misses. It's 3-2. Now Hall takes a look at Billy Martin. He wants to know if Killebrew is running. Last time, 3-2, he was not running. Hall, of course, is the key, and Mealy will have to decide. If he thinks Hall won't get a piece of the ball, he'll be holding Killebrew, and we'll soon see. Killebrew in lead. He's holding. The pitch is outside. Ball 4, and Jim Hall is on. So Baranowski walks Killebrew. Now he walks Hall, and it brings up Don Mincher. Mincher really studying Billy Martin. And this big guy, a tremendous power hitter. Wes Parker's looking for the bunt. Gilliam has moved in with Killebrew at second and Jim Hall at first. 47,797, which is a record here at Metropolitan Stadium. Here's the pitch by Baranowski. Swung on a fly ball deep to right field. Fairley is going over. A one-handed grab by Ron Fairley. Killebrew tags up but now can't make the move. Ron Fairley, a fine running catch of a line drive hit by Don Mincher. That ball had extra bases written all over it, but Ron Fairley, a left-handed thrower, reached out with that glove hand and was able to haul it in. And Harmon Killebrew at second base thought the ball was going to be a base hit, had to retrace his steps, tried to tag up and move over, but couldn't do it. So it's 1 out. Killebrew at second, Jim Hall at first, and Earl Batty, the hitter. Batty singled in the 3rd inning to drive in 2 runs, flied to left and bounced out. Baranowski delivers a foul ball, half swing, didn't mean to swing, hit his bat. Baranowski trying to keep the ball down. He's got a double play man up there. Willie Davis in center field shades Batty towards right center. Fairley plays Batty as if he were a left-handed hitter. Infield, straight away. Back. Baranowski checks Killebrew at second, Hall at first, delivers to Batty. It's low. 1 ball, 1 strike. Eight to 1. Twins lead the Dodgers. Bottom of the 7th inning. 1 man out. Killebrew at second base, Jimmy Hall at first. Baranowski set. Delivers 1-1 to Batty. Swung on. Back to Baranowski. He fires to Wills. A high throw in time, though. A 1-bounce throw to first base, and they get the double play. And that's about as wild a double play as you'll see. Baranowski threw wildly to Wills, who made a one-handed grab, stepped on second base, threw off balance, a one-hopper to the first baseman Parker. They turned it over, but a real wholesale job. So the score at the end of 7, it's the Minnesota Twins 8 and the Dodgers 1.
Go get a Barracuda from your Plymouth.
Now at your Plymouth dealers, the 1966
Back to root.
Barracuda.
Yeah. What?
So far, it's been a happy throng of over 47,000 Minnesotans looking on. Their favorite Twins, of course, took command in the 3rd inning. 8 to 1, they have the lead right now, and one of their strong pitchers, Jim Grant, still rolling along. And we're set to go. The Dodgers are coming up, 8th inning, and back we go to Joe Gargiola.
Okay, Byron Sam, and here's the pitch to Davis. Swung on a line drive, right field. Oliva's there, makes the play. A high curveball, and Davis really tomahawked it. He went for the high limb, got it, but Tony Oliva had him played perfectly, and there's 1 out. That brings up Ron Fairley. Fairley had a home run in the 2nd inning. He's flied out twice. 8 to 1, top of the 8th inning. Mudcat Grant delivers. Outside, ball 1. Like a hitter, a pitcher will have some rhythmic move that he makes, and Mudcat does it with his right foot as he taps it twice and then throws. Here's a well-hit ball deep in the right center field. Oliva's going back, near the fence, and makes the grab at the warning track. So Tony Oliva Hauls in the long, high fly ball hit by Ron Fairley into deep right center field, and there are 2 outs. Then here is Lou Johnson. Eight to 1 the score. Nobody on. 2 men out. Top of the 8th inning. Minnesota Twins out in front. Here's the pitch. It's high, ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes. Jim Grant. His job is to throw strikes. Here's a looper. Second baseman Quillisi is there. And it's 1, 2, 3 for the Dodgers in the 8th inning. And the score at the end of 7.5 innings. Minnesota Twins 8. Los Angeles Dodgers 1. The flowers that bloom in the spring. You know, in baseball, they call them the phenoms. Every year, you hear about the great batch of rookies are going to rewrite the record books. And then suddenly, something happens. The season begins. And you find that while a few new names do make the scoreboards and the headlines, the backbone of any team is still the experienced veteran. Same thing in business. When it comes to the business of getting a customer and keeping him, the vets take it hands down. Veterans like Chrysler, Plymouth, or Dodge dealers. Here are guys who are in business and stay in business by treating the customer right. Customer care, they call it. And you'll see it in a lot of ways. A nice place to wait while your car is being serviced. Express service, so you don't have to wait. Things that show your Chrysler, Plymouth, or Dodge dealer really cares. Maybe that's why so many people are buying those Plymouths, Dodges, Chryslers, and Imperials. The guys who sell them really care.
Rolling along with plenty of sunshine and a temperature in the low 70s here in the Twin Cities. Game 2 will be coming along tomorrow, and we invite you to be with us. We'll be coming on at 2:45 Eastern Daylight Time. Jim Cott, southpaw, and a very good one will go tomorrow. And Sandy Koufax, fella that's already thrown a few no-hitters, including a perfect game, will be here pitching for the Dodgers. But now we're rolling into the home 8th, and back we go to Joe.
Okay, bye. It'll be Frank Quillisi. This youngster, 2 for 3, scored a run, right-handed batter. Swings and misses a low fastball, and it's strike 1. Ron Peranowski. The Twins 8, the Dodgers 1. 8 runs, 10 hits, no errors for Minnesota. 1 run, 7 hits, 1 error for the Dodgers. Swung on, well hit to left field. Johnson is going back near the warning track, makes the catch. Frank Quillisi lines to Lou Johnson in left center field, and there's 1 away. And here is Jim Grant. Grant has certainly helped his own cause in the batter's box. He scored in the 3rd inning. He bunted, was safe on an error, and then doubled in the 6th and came around to score. Here's the pitch. It's low, ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes. Don Drysdale started, then Reed, Brewer, and now Peranowski. Swung on, a fly ball down the right field line. Ron Fairley coming over fast, makes the catch in fair territory, and there are 2 outs. Ed Vargo from the National League, the umpire down the right field line, indicated fair. Here is Zolio Versailles. Versailles, a 3-run homer in the 3rd inning, and then he singled to drive in a run in the 6th. He has driven in 4. He has scored 1. Nobody on, 2 men out. 8-1, Twins lead. Here's the pitch. It's a strike. Versailles was taken all the way. Ron Peranowski. Here's the pitch. Swung on, line drive to Maury Wills. And Versailles hit the ball right on the nose, but Wills had him played perfectly. And it's 1, 2, 3 for the Twins, and the score at the end of 8. It's the Minnesota Twins 8, the Los Angeles Dodgers 1.
Let yourself go, oh, get out and so long. Get out and let yourself go, Plymouth 66.
Let yourself go Plymouth VIP for 66. Let yourself go for luxury, a new high in luxury well within your reach. The Plymouth VIP is everything you'd like in elegance and comfort and power, yet it still stays solidly in the low price class. Wall-to-wall carpeting, deep cushioned seats, wide center armrest, the look of rich wood paneling. That's VIP. See it today at your Plymouth dealer.
Let yourself go, oh, get out and so long. Get out and show the world some tricks. Let yourself go, Plymouth 66.
And the place to let yourself go is your Plymouth dealer. He'll show you the 5 beautiful new Plymouth for 66.
The fans are coming down to the 9th inning of an 8-1 ball game from the Twin Cities. Minnesota in command of this ball game at the moment, with a packed house looking on. Last chance in for the Dodgers, and with Joe Garagiola, we're ready to go, Joe.
Okay, bye. Here is Grant to Lefevre. Swung on a base hit left field. So Lefevre is on as he singles to left on the first pitch by Grant here in the top of the 9th. That brings up Wes Parker. 8-1 is the score. Twins lead. Mincher at first base, playing behind the base runner Lefevre. Grant delivers. Swung on. A foul ball out of play. So it's strike one. 8-1. Twins lead. Top of the 9th. Lefevre is on at first base. Nobody out. Wes Parker is the hitter. Grant delivers. A curveball, a strike. 2 strikes to count now. Overhand curveball. Grant gets a sign from Batty. Delivers. Swung on. Up the middle. Quillisi can't get it. It's a base hit. Lefevre round second. He's digging for third. He'll make it as Wes Parker singles up the middle, and it's base runners at first and third. Nobody out, and John Roseboro, the hitter. Roseboro fouled out, single to right, and fly to right. Quillisi comes in to say something to the right-hander Grant. Versailles setting up the defense. Worthington is pitching in the bullpen along with Jim Merritt. Worthington a right-hander, Merritt a left-hander. Grant delivers. Swung on, popped up foul. Killebrew near the stands, may have room, waiting for it, and does have room, makes the play. Roseboro fouls out to Harmon Killebrew. And LeJohn will be the pinch hitter for the Dodgers with 1 man out. LeJohn was in 34 games. Quillisi comes in to talk to Grant. 1 out. They want to set up who's covering in case the ball is hit back to Mudcat. Saw Peranowski have some trouble with the ball hit back to him as he threw to Wills. Almost pulled him off the bag. Now Quillisi passes the information on to Versailles. The standard way to do it is with a right-hand hitter. The second baseman covers. The left-hand hitter, the shortstop covers. So in this case, if they go according to form, it'll be Quillisi who'll be covering. One out. 8-1 is the score. Twins lead. LeJohn with base runners at first and third. He takes a strike, a fastball. LeJohn hit .256. No home runs. He drove in 7 runs. Mudcat Grant, 8-1 the score, top of the 9th. Twins lead. Swing and a miss, and it's strike 2. 2 strikes to count. Maury Wills, the on-deck hitter. Grant delivers. Swung on and missed, and LeJohn is out on strikes. So there are 2 outs. That's the 5th strikeout for Mudcat Grant. Got 4 in the first 4 innings. Just racks up number 5, pinch hitter LeJohn. Here is Maury Wills. Wills called out on strikes, fouled out, line to Jim Hall in left center field, and then single to right. Grant delivers. Wills bunts it, but bunts it foul on the third base line. Wills trying to get on. Dodgers need base runners. They trail by 7. 8-1 is the score. Lefevre is on at third. Parker is on at first. Two men out. Grant delivers. Wills bunts it down the first base line. Grant's off the mound. Here's the throw. It is not in time. Wills is on. And Lefevre comes in to score from third. Parker moves down to second. So it's an 8-2 ball game. It's a base hit for Maury Wills as he beats out a bunt. Grant came off the mound. So it's an 8-2 ball game. And here is Jim Gilliam. Wes Parker at second. Wills at first. Here's the pitch. Swung on a line drive, left center field. Valdespino going over fast and makes the catch. And the Minnesota Twins win by the score of 8-2. A fine running catch by Sandy Valdespino, and Mudcat Grant being bound by his teammate. And the final score is 8 runs, 10 hits, and no errors for the Minnesota Twins. 2 runs, 10 hits, and 1 error for the Los Angeles Dodgers.
I'm a Plymouth dealer, a dealing man. Right now, I'm giving the best deal ever on the new fast-moving Plymouth Fastback, the Barracuda.
Hey, wait a minute. The name of the Plymouth Fastback is the Barracuda.
Yes, ma'am. I can't pronounce Barracuda.
Oh.
Bucket seats in front, room for 3 in the rear, or flip down the rear seat for 7 feet of carpeted cargo space. Room enough to carry a surfboard inside the Barracuda.
Isn't it kind of unusual for a Plymouth dealer not to be able to say Barracuda?
Yes, ma'am. Options on the Barracuda include the Hot Formula S package, racing stripe, and 4-speed stick shift.
Well, look, if you can say 4-speed stick shift, you ought to be able to say Barracuda.
No, ma'am. Anybody can say 4-speed stick spiff.
Go get up there.
Optional on the 1966 Barracuda are front-wheel disc brakes.
Gee, if you can say front-wheel disc brakes.
I know.
Well, the first game of the 1965 World Series is history as the Minnesota Twins, behind Mudcat Grant, defeat the Los Angeles Dodgers in Don Drysdale by the score of 8-2. That's the final score, Twins 8, Dodgers 2.